Guess what happened? Guess what just happened? When I tell you my video that was almost an hour long did not record at all, it didn't record. It did this one time before. I recorded something and it didn't record. And I was just saying how I was up here sleeping and I didn't feel like saying this again, right? But I'm going to say this. That little man in the chair that was by Drake, he reminded me of the Ephemedes or whatever his name was on 300 when he said we will kill many Persians, and Leonidas was like, "No, no, you're not. No, you're not." And so when he said, "No, you're not," and he told him that he couldn't fight on the battlefield with him, he betrayed his land, even though he knew the enemies was going to destroy that land. He knew the enemies was going to destroy that land, but he still took his butt on and betrayed them just because Leonidas was looking out for himself and he was looking out for others. That's why some people don't like people to be in truth because they know they're going to do the right thing. Let me not say that, but Leonidas said no, period. He said you can bring water to those that have been wounded, or you can clear the land, full of the bodies and deceased and stuff. You can clear the land of that. Well, he ain't want to do that. Instead, he went and betrayed Leonidas. Yeah. Knowing how hard he had to fight already with just his little few, whole squad and everything. But he betrayed Leonidas for a uniform, for a uniform and his pleasures. All because of what he wanted. Yeah. And so that's who the little dude, that's what the guy in the wheelchair that was with Drake reminded me of. And as I was saying, per that hour live, I don't know their relationship or who he really is to him. I could just speculate that I can't say that whatever Drake had going on, the little dude in the wheelchair had going on. I don't know if the dude in the wheelchair agreed with him or not. I don't know. All I know is he's a reporter. And until we get more, until we hear both from either side, if they decide to say anything, because, right, you know what I'm saying? I can't just speculate they affiliated with each other, so on and so forth. But a thorough investigation will most definitely do that from, everything that's been pulled out the receipts, So, anyways, so, investigation and truth will most definitely do that. And so, with that being said, I thought about Misery. I was talking about the movie Misery yesterday, and I was gonna hop on that and use that, but then I was like, no, better remind me of 300, the dude, the little guy that betrayed Leonidas in 300, and then they tried to make like a homosexual version off of 300, and I said 300. They tried to make a homosexual version out the movie 300. And I was like, I hate when they mess with the original creation of something, because when you mess with the original creation of something, it loses its beauty. It loses its true meaning in truth. And so I hate when people go and try to remake a movie and things like that, which, they could do that, but it's still not the beauty and the perfection of the original one, nor will it ever change. They go to try to putting all this bus and this in there when it was just, what it was, because Leonidas had his queen, and yeah, he had, and his queen wasn't going, but she knew her place as a woman, and she was a strong woman. Many people think I'm masculine or whatever, or I don't want to get married or whatever. I will be submitted to the right one. What? I couldn't even get it out. The right one. The right one in truth. Because I don't want no bussy or disable regimes, and I don't want no, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm good. It's alright. And I know my place as a woman. I carry myself well. but I ain't going for no weed stuff. And I also said for Ephemites or whatever, it's a shame. I watched that movie so much. I should know that little thing name, but I can't remember his name. But I know one thing about it and two things for sure. I would have maybe I would have let him go out there, but now as I was just talking on that hour live, I kind of feel like Leonidas. Like, no, no, you coming like that, you can't. Yeah, because I don't want to risk nobody else getting hurt, and me as a woman, I'm just like, if my king would have told me that, I just would have respected it off top. But well, no, I would have said, but don't you think he deserved a fight because the passion he have and the passion he have for something, just let him be, But now that I think about it, the way that Leonidas was thinking about it, I see what he was saying. Leonidas, I see what he was saying now because you just can't risk nobody else getting hurt because you fighting side by side, and you gotta. If my man this tall and big and stuff, and you sitting up here like this, no sir. So I agree with Leonidas now after putting it together like it should be. Now I agree with Leonidas for sure. Ooh. Emma said, we would kill many Persians. Okay, let me hurry up because, like I said, I got to get some sleep because I ain't getting no sleep last night. And I'm going to go head over to the courtroom of YSL because I don't know why I got cut off and I was on here an hour, but that's okay. I'll just go ahead and recap it, in a shorter time. So, like I was saying in the YSL trial, I said it's a shame how people get offended. They get offended off what they did wrong. And instead of correcting what they did wrong, they want to make you feel some type of way, or they want to make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about, so on and so forth. And I was just saying we all make mistakes, and mistakes don't justify our mistakes are not who we are, and it also does not justify our wrongdoing. We have to correct what we did wrong. And I was just saying how Judge McAfee looked at DA Fannie Willis's charges that she had against former President Trump and his defense lawyer, former President Donald Trump. That's all I'm gonna say. Former President Donald Trump, and he said this will not be legal. You can't do this like this. Whatever it was, in whatever context he said that it was, he pulled it out of there because it wasn't right. I said he is an example of a unbiased judge at the end of the day, because a biased judge would have been like, no, we're going to keep that in there, and then mess around and go to court, and then possibly, even though you've had all this evidence for whatever your case is, make you look bad and make that be a whole nother situation. You have to eliminate the loopholes and the BS, even though you get mad, at the end of the day. So I was just saying that mistakes are going to happen. They do not define how good you are at your work. It just means that I made a mistake, but let me correct it, and I'ma still stand on what I was talking about. So back to what I was talking about, the offended. So what they proved today was that and we do thank them for proving that this is a waste of time. Number one, if the stack of papers was just a consolidated version of whatever the investigation, we should have been seeing that 4-page report is all I'm saying. And you still prove nothing but that it was a consolidated report, no matter if you had them in different piles or whatever. The next thing I want to go ahead and point out is we don't care that you sat up there and took the time to write everything out with bullet points, so on and so forth. If you could have asked those questions, the mature thing just I wouldn't be worried about proving anything to anyone, because I know what my stuff, what I'm standing on is the truth. So I don't have to get up here and prove nothing. I'm going to ask these questions, but I am going to make sure that the defense team review this thoroughly as they should. Another thing that was proved on today is most definitely that they can just admit stuff when they want to, even though the detective Ricey, the retired detective Ricey. I don't know if he's still active or non-active, but I do know that he said that prior to the questioning that he went ahead and reviewed some reports and made a demonstrate, of longitude and latitude concerning where a pin was dropped at, and how did that relate, and what was the relevance to those phone calls. I'm not really sure if he was just saying that because he said he put it in Google as well. And so because he put it in Google, that was cute. Because he put it in Google, he got all this information. And I don't know if that was because if it was the same location as it is today or not. I don't know what the relevance was of that, or him doing it so it can be admitted on this day. I guess that's what they was just showing. Anything that someone says can be admitted at any time during the course of this case. I guess that's what the point that they was trying to make, since it was many concerns about how do they just get to admit evidence when it should have been given to the defense to review properly. And I'm gonna still say that's the truth for a real case that was really thoroughly investigated in real life. And so once again, you prove nothing. But thank you for taking the time out to show us that you are concerned about our commentary and, our thoughts, and we do value you for that. Thank you. Another thing was most definitely, I think those were the only things. Yeah. I think that was about it that I wanted to talk about. Um, and it's just like, let me make sure that's it. Oh yeah. And the other thing was that I did notate was that I noticed that they really tried hard to point out that there was a phone call made from, I guess, maybe Mr. Winfrey or one of the suspects to YSL before he, attempted to do this shooting. They pointed out the call at 3:14, pointing at Mr. Williams, number one, Mr. Jeffrey Williams, and then later on at night, where the calls began to fall, I don't know if it was 3:26, 3:35, some stuff like that. Don't really, don't quote me on that. That may not be accurate, but I know that was Mr. Williams, number two, which is Mr. Brian Williams. And so, with that being said, they're focusing only on the call at 3:14. They're trying to say 3:14 is when the shooting actually happened, which is when they got the call from the 911 operator to match this. So I guess they will paint a narrative or try to say that he was on the phone shooting while he was on the phone with someone at YSL. The only thing is, I don't want to speculate any further. And Mr. Steele brought up a great point. How can, even though this detective is testifying, on his investigation and what he found out, whereas Mr. Winfrey can't be cross-examined. So that means that the detective testimony has to be the credible source of what really happened. I guess with their doomsday of, prior witnesses and everything to prove that it wasn't together, even though you have it together now. It still is what it is. Right on like that. It's all good, it is what it is, but the truth has already been revealed at the end of the day. And so it could be funny and all that, like I got one up on you and you getting shut down because I ruled a courtroom or whatever. It is what it is. The truth still was shown. Some people don't know how to take a loss, and it's okay. I'm grateful that I'm not like that, because where I'm wrong at, because you're gonna mess up, you're gonna do some things wrong, but where I'm wrong at, I'm gonna let you know. Yep, I messed up. I was wrong for that. I was wrong for that. You know what? Let me do it over. I, apologize for where I got it. But people that's not like that, you know, it's all good going forward. It is what it is. I don't care how you get up there and try to clap back. At the end of the day, Google that. Poof. So, anyways, let me get back over here, and I was talking about how 16-year-olds, most definitely, and then those boards was like solar panels, those big boards, and they didn't show, the jury or nobody what it was. They just wanted to present it in front of detective that he agreed, and he agreed that that's exactly what she was talking about. Everything that she wrote on the board. We don't know if that was what she wrote on the board or not. And I guess their point is it don't matter. And the judge, hell, I guess he got offended today because he was just typing. He wasn't even into the trial. I guess he wasn't even in the trial. I guess all had to prove a point today, but thank you for proving we were true. Okay, so then we want to get over here and talk about. I was talking about how people was making a like glorifying 16-year-old being consensual, or you know being an age of consent, for sex, so on and so forth. I think that that topic really has no relevance, and I was just saying, instead of focusing on that, how about we just focus on encouraging them to vote? And if you have, we focusing on people, that age being the age of consent for sex, let's go ahead and make it, a consent to vote. That's what I was saying. And I was also encouraging all people to go vote because it is important. Freedom, truth, and democracy is very important. And we want to most definitely, we want to most definitely have that. And I encourage to vote for President Joe Biden, as I have been saying. And that's just it. I'm not, I'm just focused on who actually listened to the people, who actually made changes. Even though he decided to go one way at one point in time, he made changes to show people like, yes, I'm serious. I'm serious about being your leader. I have made a change, and it just wasn't for me and what I wanted. It was for all. And he literally did it for all. And nobody could, ever take that away from him at the end of the day, no matter how they use it, and try to use it against him. The truth is the truth. Look, I tell people all the time, I'm for the truth. I'm not going to be for no lies. So you can't come to me with no bussy and dissy stuff. Now, if we working on stuff and truth, we good. We good together. If I ever decide to do that, we'll be good in truth. But that bussy and dissy stuff, I'm not the person that you're going to want to reveal that stuff to me, because I don't play them type of games. You know what I mean? Okay. And I don't deal with people that want to be, want me to cover up their mess and stuff like that all the time. No, they need to be held accountable for what the hell, they do. And that ain't got nothing to do with me and stuff like that. Like, for real. Because you look at the what we're faced with now. We, could possibly get someone that, just like suppressing and oppressing people just because of the truth that they speak, so on and so forth. Many think Joe Biden is going to be like that, and I beg to differ, just because of the changes that he have made. He hasn't demonstrated that, and he very well could have this far. He very well could have, if that was going to be who he was, but he did not. He has not shown us that, and so I still encourage you to still vote for him at the end of the day. Okay. I stayed on here for an hour, but just making sure I covered everything. I'm not even sure if I ran over. I forgot where I was. I think I ran over those phone calls. I know I talked about them solar panels. Did I talk about which was they demonstrate? Yeah. I think I talked about that. I talked about that. I talked about that. Did I talk about the phone calls? I think. Okay, so with the if I have to do this over, I'm gonna be so mad because I absolutely was tired, and I just think that I skipped over a very well. Let me just go ahead and point out what I want to say, anyways, about the YSL trial because, like I said, it was the phone calls for me after we wasted times for them to prove a point that their stack of papers was consolidated, but these consolidated papers still wasn't presented to the detectives from each section of that report that has already been omitted for the detectives that we have already spoke to. They didn't get that same report at the end of the day, and that report could have been different and all this stuff. But the other day you said it was consolidated. Now today it was consolidated and broken down in each section with those solar panels and those demonstrates. And like I said, I don't care how many bulletins you write, at the end of the day, the truth has already been revealed that at first it was not that. And so thank you for proving to us that you can get away with admitting stuff when you want to and letting us see or not see and this, that, and the other. Okay. I think I said that. I think I wanted to point to them phone calls, and I don't know if I said this or not, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it so I won't have to come back on here. Those phone calls that they were highlighting, most definitely, I would say, I paid attention to 314. I paid attention to three. I think I've already said this. I just feel like I ran through everything so much faster that I did, and if I'm wrong, because I will be playing this back, then I will come back and fix this, but I'm finna go to sleep first because I know for sure you already heard the very first video I did. I'm pretty sure that just went out to you anyway, and so I'll just upload this one for sure. But I'm gonna just go ahead and say, that's if I left anything out. I just want to go ahead and also encourage that we get Judge Aileen Cannon removed off the case down there in Florida, presiding over former President Donald Trump's concerning that the classified documents case that's highly important. And to tell you the truth, it should have been tried before the one in New York, but both of the cases are important. But I'm just saying that would have been most important. That should have been the first case that has been tried. The Supreme Court has most definitely been quiet, when it comes to granting president. There's the question of, does a president get full immunity? The answer, in my opinion, in my vision, and what I know is the truth, is absolutely not. But for some reason, they are waiting on this, and we'll see how that plays out. In the meantime, in the between time, we most definitely need to go ahead and get Aileen Cannon off of there, presiding over the case, because she's not going to be unbiased and she's not going to be impartial. She has already picked her side for Trump, and when it's like that, former President Donald Trump, and when it's like that, she might as well go ahead and move off the case, because you're not going to judge in truth at the end of the day. And I know many may say, well, Judge Merchan is not an impartial judge. Why he not? Because he could have been put him in jail, number one. So that lets you know he don't just hate him like that, for number one. Then for number two, though the prosecution in that case, they have their stuff together. It's a difference between a case that's everywhere and a case that's together. And people may get offended about that, and it's all good. Do what you got to do, prove what you got to prove. But at the end of the day, we already know it's not together, because, see, in that courtroom over there, the prosecutors can actually lay out their stuff, baby. It's going to be the same thing forward and backwards and in order, because they don't show they evidence that they got so on and so forth, and ain't nobody got time for all that. So at the end of the day, I feel like their case is in order a lot better, and it does, make sense for what it is. From the little pieces I've heard, I'm gonna go ahead and update my knowledge on it. I wasn't really concerned because, Trump called, black and brown people criminals, and he was so stern about, Hitler, Hamas, so on and so forth. He took, pride in all that. And because of all that, I really don't care for it anymore. I just know that I don't want that type of leader over a free land, because no matter who you are and what you do, and how much he may give you, at the end of the day, it's a good chance that you will be the one that's oppressed. And he don't care, just as long as he gets what he wants. That's a problem for me. That's a problem for me when you go up there and call out enemies of America, and then let the people in the nation, let them know that I don't care about you, I only care about one race. Why would anyone settle to vote for something like that? You need to vote with someone, with some sense. And I already told you, President Joe Biden for me, and I hope he is for you, because he did show us that he can be unbiased. He did show us that he will do something for all people. What's all this talk? Why is, stuff being bankrupt? America's supposedly going, I don't know about all that at all. I'm sure it's something that could be worked out at the end of the day, especially when both sides have been wrong for doing something. I think it's some type of agreement that can be made, and that's what a true judge do. That's what a true that's what the truth do, and anyone presiding over a truth does. But anyways, back to what I was saying. We need to go to Glenn Kirshner and get the information on how to move Judge Aileen off of that case down there in Florida, because we need that to go ahead and move along. There's no reason for that case to be delayed. Many legal experts and analysts have said there is no reason why that case should be delayed. It's being delayed intentional because the judge has already made up her mind. She don't care how good Mr. Jack Smith's case is solid, and it makes sense, and it has a foundation. The preamble matches exactly what's in a indictment, and so on and so forth. He has all that. But the problem is, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want to hear it, because she wants this thing to stretch out so, Trump can be, so he can run for the president of the United States. But no one checked the law books to actually see if that's really possible. Can you run for a president, the office of president, when you have pending charges? Can you do that? They won't even let you get a job like that. So I'm trying to figure that part out as well too, because that may possibly be a problem. I don't think it has anything to do with the trial in New York. That may be a problem as well. In addition to that, like I was saying, yeah, go to Glenn Kirshner and get that information. I will be most definitely doing that tomorrow. I did mention that I did find out that it wasn't a mailing issue concerning my situation, but it was a system issue concerning that situation that I do not wish to share. But once again, yes, most definitely, let's go ahead and get that information, print off those forms, mail them in, so we can get Judge Aileen Cannon removed off of that case, because the truth matters as well as justice. So hey, we need to make it happen. So I encourage all to do that. And most definitely, I think I've said everything. I'm sleepy. I'm getting sleepy now. I'm gonna go ahead, take me a little nap. And that's it, because I just ran through that thing forward and backwards. But I think I said everything. I pretty much think I said everything. I hope all of you have a great night. Of course, I'm going to replay this to make sure I didn't leave out anything. Or whatever I didn't leave out, I'm going to say it in like 2 seconds.